We're joined now by Korean specialist Jenny Town. She's the assistant director of the U.S. Korea Institute at Johns Hopkins University. Jenny, thanks for joining us today. So by now, obviously, we've been talking about all day that Chinese President Xi Jinping was urging restraint during this weekend phone call with President Trump. But is President Trump, in your estimation, only adding fuel to the fire with his tweets, and his strong warning to the DPRK?
Absolutely. Playing this game of this verbal one-upsmanship is only making the risk for potential conflict higher, whether or not it's intentional. And so I think, what the U.S. needs to do is not play Pyongyang's game and really step back and look at what is really in our interest and what is our strategy and how can we convey that in a convincing way.
I was going to say, that was my next question. Kim Jong-un has used words like he's going to destroy the United States, bring the United States to ashes. In a way, is he provoking President Trump to come back at him in hopes of escalating these words?
Well, I think, with North Korea and the propaganda, this is very formulaic. They do it a lot, but it is very much a deterrence factor. And so they're using it as if the U.S. does military actions, this is what will happen. Whereas what the president said on Tuesday was very different, of if North Korea threatens us, this is what's going to happen. And I think that formula is that distinction is very important because it draws these fake red lines that, there are consequences for in terms of credibility and reputation if you continue to make these red lines and then not act on them. It makes it a very difficult for the U.S. to have credibility going forward. And we saw this in April, where he threatened the Armada and the movement of the Carl Vinson group. And then North Korea feels it won that battle and called his bluff. And so now the question is for him to do these kinds of things. Are they going to call his bluff on this as well? And what is that going to look like?
Is there a way that North Korea, the DPRK's missile system program can be tested or judged on just exactly how sophisticated it is?
I don't think we should underestimate how sophisticated it is. And I think that's what we have been doing in the past. We don't know exactly how reliable it is and how quickly they're willing to use it. But the reality is that they've moved forward very quickly. They've been working on this for many years, and the more that the president especially has active threats against North Korea, it actually strengthens their resolve to keep moving forward. And they look to this and sort of use it as a justification of, see, here's an active threat from the United States. This is why we need nuclear weapons.
What is the best way to deal with the DPRK in this situation?
In this situation, really, we need to stop using diplomacy as a reward for good behavior, and really start using negotiation to accomplish our goals. And our goals are really to de-escalate and to address the issues as to why does North Korea have nuclear weapons and what can we do to change that situation so that we can denuclearize the entire Korean peninsula. But until we get to that point, we're going to continue to fall into this escalatory cycle.
Should another country be in the driver's seat at the UN when outlining these sanctions?
When outlining the sanctions and the UN and with North Korea, the reality is that the North Korea sees the US as the main enemy. And so there is a role for other countries to play. And I think, other countries are trying to play that role in terms of trying to urge restraint on both sides, trying to, encourage a diplomatic process to happen. But I think because the U.S. is the main enemy, or because North Korea sees the U.S. as the main enemy on security issues and the reason why they have nuclear weapons, the U.S. really needs to be in the driver's seat of a diplomatic process.
Alrighty. Well, Jenny Town, thank you so much. Always great to see you, especially on this important day.
Thanks.
We appreciate it.